Hello everyone, this is Troy. I'm just recording. This is my laptop right here. I'm using my phone to record it because my laptop is not the best. So obviously, we all did our PowerPoints or some other form on Marilyn Monroe. And my theory is going to be focused on the social learning theory. Obviously, we've been over what social learning theory is, but just to break it down a little bit, the big thing for Marilyn Monroe is learn by observing others, or the environmental factors play a huge role in, what people become. We model the behavior of the people around us or that aren't around us, especially if we find these models like ourselves or if we want to emulate them. Our mental state's very important in the learning process, as you'll see throughout this PowerPoint. And it doesn't always mean that there will be change in behavior. It's all different for different people. Question one was Norma's struggles in relationships. She lived in a childhood filled with poverty. She definitely didn't have the best environmental factors. According to Marilyn Monroe, she lived with approximately 9 foster families before she was even 16 years old. You can only imagine what that would do to your, psychological thinking. And right down to it, she may have inherited mental illness from her family. And that boils down to the environmental factors. Her grandfather and great-grandmother were both institutionalized into mental hospitals, and they both sadly passed away in. Another big thing in Marilyn Monroe's life was the drug and alcohol addiction. It became a factor in her life because of so many different things. But, the tragedy of not really having any family, the foster care system, the lack of luck in marriages was big. And overall, just her life in general definitely wasn't, ideal for her. And, the relationship with her mother, it both wasn't there, just same with her father. And basically, you could describe that as not having a relationship at all. Question 2, Norma and psychotherapy. So some behaviors, defenses, thought processes that Norma is using at this time, I think would be the aspect of addiction, because she's trying to hide the pain. And, sometimes when people are under the use of addiction, they can become a different person, and that's kind of who they want to be. I think marrying many different men, obviously some didn't work out in her favor, but being alone growing up in the foster care system, you could want to change that and, be someone else and, not be alone. I believe the social learning theory, could be crucial for her and guide her in the right direction by navigating away from those negative thoughts. Like I stated before, you want, as a counselor and as a therapist, you want to guide them in the right direction, away from those negative thoughts and try to make those positive thoughts. If I was navigating this counseling session, I would try to get her to understand, the environmental factors that have taken place. And I think a lot of them have caused the problems, of the addiction, marrying, a bunch of different things that, she didn't have those family members. Moving to 9 different foster families was really tough for her. One thing I think we would struggle with is the frustration. Especially in today, because she wouldn't really understand everything that's happening, and she kind of just had to boil it up and go with it. And maybe not her being open-minded enough when dealing with counseling, because those factors she grew up with her whole life, and she was dealing with all that trauma, so she might not react well to someone trying to guide her or give her advice. Some modeling techniques, I think positive modeling and stress management could be treatment interventions to gain a positive outlook. Obviously, as a counselor, you can't force her to do, what you think is best, but you can offer that guidance, and, it can only go so far. But, I think giving her those options would be crucial. And lastly, the critique of theory applied to Norma. Overall, I think social learning theory best describes Monroe's behavior because it doesn't involve those environmental factors and includes thoughts, feelings, expectations, values, and observations. And when you think about all the trauma in her life, she really has had a lot of thoughts. She's had suicidal thoughts. She's felt alone. The values that she still holds, she wanted to change and she felt like she could better herself. But with those locations and all the people that she was around that, didn't really give her the benefit, it kind of put her down. And no blame to her because, she centered her behavior around incidents that happened in her life. And I think that happens with even us today in society. We want others to feel bad for us when trauma happens. Obviously she found faults in herself, so she definitely took the blame for some of them. However, she did believe that she was capable of being better. And I think that's a start, and I think that would totally, help in our sessions, especially if she's trying to be better. So navigating away those negative thoughts to positive. And I think in today's society, anybody would be able to give the help that she truly needed. If you think about the resources today with counseling, therapy, the foster care system, especially if she was growing up today, she wouldn't be in those 9 different situations. And, I think others could help shift her environmental factors, basing it back to foster care. I think that's a huge thing. I think, the development of her personality, even in school, how she wanted to go to college because she didn't think she was smart enough, I think those could play a huge role in helping her. But yeah, overall, I think social learning theory could definitely be beneficial for her, guiding those negative thoughts to positive. She definitely didn't have the easiest life, so I think, just trying to give her a better understanding, and basically basing it off all the environmental factors. So this is the end of my presentation. I went a little longer than 5 minutes, but, I really do think a lot of these theories could help her. So I appreciate you guys. I could use all the feedback. I appreciate it.